Hey, I'm Becca with the Happy Ever Crafter, and this video is like totally different than what you normally see on my YouTube channel. It is an excerpt. I don't think I've ever used that word in my whole life. It is a snippet. It's a cutout. It's a piece. It's a piece of a video that I did recently with Alli Koch, who came on the show originally to teach us a lesson about how to draw florals, which is what she does so beautifully. But her and I both ended up going off on this like crazy tangent about some personal burnout issues and like the ins and outs of our worlds where we're both getting really tired. And, it actually was supposed to be just sort of a conversation between the two of us that we were going to cut out of the video. But I think it's really valuable. And it's the first time that I've put out anything quite this like vulnerable on the channel. So if you're watching this, that's what this is. There's no real like beautiful editing to it or anything. It's just a conversation between Alli and I think that some people will benefit from it. So if you're into that, check this out. If you wanted to just see the actual interview and lesson with Alli, you can find it here. But other than that, let's just jump right in.
I'm in this like weird end of year funk, very like people think that I might have it all together, but everyone goes through their struggles, and end of year, it's always that like weird time of self-doubt. Everyone goes through it. Like I'm going through it right now. So that's probably why I said undo today.
Oh man, I'm tempted to dive into that topic with you right now because I'm
on it right now. Yeah.
I am with you.
People like just don't think, they're like, oh my gosh, she has it all put together. She knows what she's doing. She's coming out with all these things. Like, yeah, people, that's fine. But I struggle with like thinking about other people too much before myself. And man, I could go on and on about it. We could have like a whole hour talk of just like this topic. Like people don't show the vulnerability as much as, because you only see like snapshots on Instagram, and if you go on Instagram and you are sitting here like complaining, people are like, you need to stop complaining, like be grateful for what you have. And I totally am, but I mean, you can't do this entrepreneur life ship by yourself. Like if you don't have any support group, you will fail. That's just tough love. Because I'm like, I think I've called probably every single person on my Rolodex at least once this week. And I'm just like, I need to talk this out with you. Like I have to. So yeah.
Yeah. I totally feel you. I honestly, like, I'm happy to talk about this for a little bit. I know that I don't know if it's the same where you are, because you don't have like a meter of snow already on the ground like we do, but like we are very affected by like seasonal affective disorder too. Yeah. And I think it's that much harder when you are already like end of year burning out sort of thing. And then it's all of like the season changing and it's dark at whatever time you would normally be ready to work and all that. But I'm excited to chat about this a little bit right now, because I have been struggling with whether or not I should chat about like my sort of burnout stuff everyone should. I know that I want to.
What platform should we do that in? Because that's what I'm like thinking. I'm like, hold on, I don't want people to think that I'm like complaining and it's not us complaining, it's just like us like being human. Like I think people forget all the time, I'm not Amazon, I can't ship things out in 2 days, and I'm not like a HR person all the time. Like it's a lot. We're expected to do and be so much, and people like forget that we're not robots. Like we are human, we have feelings, we have I'm constantly doubting myself. You might not think that because I'm coming out with so many things and doing so many things, but in the back of my head, I am like just racing through this devil's advocate, angel devil. Alli, should I do this? Alli, should I do that? Are they going to like this? What are they going to think? Are they even going to buy that? Like, it's just like constantly in my head. And so when my work slows down at the end of the year, And when
It
it
hits
slows
you.
down, it hits me like a rock. It's just like this. And this week, it's just been like this huge wave of emotions. I'm like, I'm not creative. I don't have, like, I can't come up with the creative ideas for next year. I'm like, are people even going to still follow me? What's going to happen with these, like, no likes things? Is Instagram going to die? That's fine. If Instagram dies, I hopefully have enough. Like, there's just like, it's just like all of it. Like, if people don't think that they're not thinking about it, they're lying, because they're thinking about it.
Yeah, it's constantly like, there's no shut off button when it's your business. And
None.
but so what I was saying was I struggle.
I am like, yeah, go ahead. No, I'm like Enneagram 2, like it's intertwined in me. And my parents are like, just like, you have to practice it. I'm like, how do I like pull it out of my DNA? Like, it's just like,
What's 2? What's Enneagram 2?
A helper.
Okay.
So, and like people, you just worry, you put other people's needs and feelings before your own, and that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
I'm a 3, which is the achiever. So I have I really struggle with just chilling out. And it was probably 3 weeks ago or a month ago. So I'm in a mastermind group with a bunch of other crazy talented entrepreneurs, and we were all sitting around, and usually like that kind of thing really fires me up when I get super excited, and like I leave those meetings feeling really energized and like ready to go. Yeah. And for some reason in this one, I just like, I had nothing to say, and I left feeling totally defeated. Like I just felt like burnt out, and it all, like you said, it like hit me like a rock. Like I was like, why am I doing this? I'm not excited about it. I'm exhausted. I'm like, whatever. And I started realizing like I've been in creative ruts before, and I've had another artist on here talking about creative ruts at one point. Yeah. And I've experienced that, but there's a difference between that and burning out. And I think this is the first time I had actually hit a burnout, and I realized the difference was, in a creative rut, I realize it's a creative rut and I just don't want to pick up a pen or draw or write or anything. But in a burnout, it's like, it's affecting every part of my life. Like I don't want to cook. I don't want to hang out with people. I just want to watch TV. I like don't want to sit down and work. Absolutely not. Like all of it. And I just was letting a bunch of balls drop. And it's like you said, you don't want to seem ungrateful. So I want to talk about it because I think it's important for people to know that that happens. Yeah. But at the same time, you don't want to seem like, oh, I have so many followers. It's so much pressure. You know, it is a lot of pressure. It's not about that. It's just like at some point it all kind of just like weighs on you. And then it's so much heavier when you have all of that pressure and all of these people watching and like knowing that you're supposed to come out with something new. And like, it's just a lot.
It's so much. Yeah.
So I've been doing a lot of, like I forced myself to really start to slow down. Good. Just go slower, like, you know,
take things in small bites.
Yeah. And just give myself longer timelines for the things that I would usually do in a week, you know, like, you know, only plan a couple things a day, try not to squeeze as many things in. Like I had a call with one of my friends who's a business coach too, who has also been on the show, Lana. And she pointed out to me something that I realize is really true about me. And I think it probably is true about a lot of entrepreneurs, is that like everything I do in my life, I feel like has to be productive somehow. Yeah. Like I don't ever sit down to just like read a book. I would sit down to read a book and be like, okay, how quickly can I read this? And which chapter should I read first? Because I want to, you know, and like, or I'm only ever reading business books because I want it to be productive. So I got all the Harry Potter books.
Yeah. When was the last time like you drew something just for yourself?
Never.
I physically can't do it. It's sad. And I've told so many people, I was like, it's going to happen. Like I mentored a girl and she's like, I want to go from hobby to business. Like, and like art is just like a release for me and all this stuff. And I'm like, you need to really like double check to make sure that you want to take that release and turn into a business, because it is a completely different beast. Like you will turn what, like you probably have too, like I've had to come up with something else that was a release for me, because art used to be that way and now I can't, because I'm in that same way. I'm constantly like, oh, I can post this, or I can make this into a t-shirt.
This is content. This is content.
Yeah,
this is not like a hobby anymore. I know.
Yeah. So it's just like And like things that people don't think about. They're like, oh, I love doing this. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I love doing it too. And I'm very fortunate that can now make, like, that's my job in a sense. But it's not a release anymore. And it's not like something that I can just like sit down and be like, I'm just going to draw just because.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
100%.
Like, I could never.
Yeah, no. And you don't, like, I don't have the desire anymore, like in my free time at the end of the day. I don't sit down on the couch and be like, I'm going to grab my notebook and doodle while I watch TV, because that's what I used to do when I fell in love with it. And I loved that.
Yes.
But now you're like, oh, I have no desire to do that.
No desire. And you just need a break. You need a mental break. I'm like, I need to watch TV. I just need to turn my brain off. I cannot remember last time I like sat at the TV and doodled. No. And what really sucks is that Instagram just like feeds our content beast, because I did Inktober, and one of the ones was like finger paint. Like my prompt was like finger paint florals, and so I just like went into it as like, I don't even care. Like, this is when I was behind, so I'm like, just do this real quick, like just make it. And it actually turned out pretty decent, like beginner's luck probably. I posted on it and Instagram just went berserk over it. I had no intention of like making it into something, but then I saw that they like loved it. So I'm like, well, they loved it. Like, now I have to like do something like print and all this stuff. And then like I turned what was a simple, just 5-second thing. And then now I'm like, oh, well, I should, people love it. They want it. I got to give it to them type of thing. It always happens.
It's like, it's impossible to separate those things. So I think, what you were saying about, you have to have a hobby or some sort of release that's not art related. So that's what I've been really trying to figure out what that is. I like decided to, actually, I can't say the one thing that I'm trying to learn, because it's going to be a surprise for people in my family who might be watching this. But I found a hobby that is like completely unrelated and I will never show anybody, which is like, I think important. It's something you have to be like, I'm never going to put this on social media, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
And I also got all the Harry Potter books, which I've never read. So I'm working on those.
Have you watched all of the movies?
No. So I'm like going to read all the books and then watch all the movies. And finally I will be like part of normal society,
Yes. I don't read. So I'm just really slow and I have dyslexia. So it's just really hard for me to read. So I need to like get back into like audio, but then it's so hard to do audio because my brain just like can't like compute that fast. I don't know. And then I'm like, hold on, what did you just say? And then I'm like, want to write that down. And I don't know.
I think it's funny that you can't do audio, but you have a podcast.
But I don't listen to my own podcast. If that's like I will probably not listen to the first part of it. I'm probably going to go and listen to like this, wherever you put this, but like the first part, like I probably won't listen to it. Like, it's just, my dad hates it. He's like, how are you ever going to learn? I was like, fine.
So back to like burnout stuff. If you had like 3 to 5 tips you would say for people who might feel like they're in that position, what would your kind of go-tos be?
I don't think I say that I've never like experienced a full burnout. My body like will physically shut down and get sick. And so it's like it's a switch. So it just switches off, I'm sick, and then done for a week. So that I think is my own personal burnout. I've gotten close to where you've talked about where you just don't want to do anything, don't want to see anyone, don't want to eat, like don't want to do anything. I've gotten close to that, but it's always come to, then I get sick. And then of course, like when you're sick, you're like, oh, I have a perfect excuse to not do anything. I'm sick.
That's what's the worst about the burnout too, is like, I genuinely just wish I was sick, but I'm not sick. It's just
You're
like a mental, I'm
but
just being lazy.
But you kind of are sick. You're like mentally ill.
That's what you have to remember.
But you have to just like give your brain a break. That's exactly
I know.
like
it's my brain is, my brain has a cold right now.
Yes, exactly. Your brain has a cold, and so you need to just give it some medicine, just rest. So I think that's probably like the biggest thing, is just like resting, but like genuinely resting, not I'm gonna rest and sit and draw. Like, no, like rest and sit and do nothing. Like I personally, that's what I have to do. I hate that I am like right now my like release is TV. I hate it. It's probably really horrible, but it's like the only time I can turn my brain off is when I'm watching TV, and when I feel like completely relaxed. Because again, like if I'm not doing a lot of stuff, or my brain isn't stimulated, then it goes into this like what if land. And going into what ifs, is that land is not healthy. So
do you
trying
meditate?
to find that, I can't. No, my brain has to be stimulated like constantly, and it's so
yeah.
bad.
But I think I would challenge you to.
I've tried. I just sitting in like a room, quiet, getting massages help, because I'm like still doing something but not doing something, so I'm able to rest while doing that. But yeah, I've tried. I can't do it. It makes me like, every single time I've tried to do it, I come up with like these crazy ideas, and then I have to immediately like, I get antsy and just can't do it. So
but that's the point. So I know I'm not going to convince you to do it, but
that's
one
the
thing
point.
that
Like, yeah, I'm trying to like not do something, and then I'm like, oh, like my
so
best thinking
one
is in
of
the shower or in an airplane. When I'm constricted to nothing is when I have the best thinking.
So one of the things that I've heard recently, or I can't remember where I read it or I saw it or something. Oh no, I totally remember where I saw it. It was on a Lululemon bag. You know how they have like those quotes on the Lululemon bag?
Yes.
And it said meditate every day for 10 minutes. And then if you feel like you're too busy that day, meditate for 20. So it's like, it's talking about how like the more you think you shouldn't do it, the more you should. I know that like me saying that to you is not gonna be like, oh yeah, I should meditate, but like, but I really think that especially for people who are skeptical of it, or who and if you've only tried it like 5 times and sitting down and your brain goes crazy, you just have to sit through that until it clicks. And don't ever try and just do it in a silent room. You should have like, use an app that does guided meditations, because otherwise you're screwed. Like there are apps specifically with somebody talking you through the whole thing, so that's the only thing you can focus on. And I guarantee you, it'll feel good. I also read a book. I know you just finished saying you don't read, but there's a book called Unplug, and the tagline on it is meditation for busy skeptics.
There you go.
So that was the first one that I read. So maybe that'll help you, convince you.
I'll get the cliff notes.
Yeah, exactly.
No, just like taking things in like smaller bites, resting. To answer your question, smaller bites, resting, and then just reflecting. So this is a very I'm about to like pitch myself, but I came out with a high-low app. That's the app that I created, and it has helped tremendously of reflecting. So I had like, I can only max out characters, and each box is 330. I maxed out my low. So I had like a super low day a couple days ago, but then it like forced me to think. I'm like, okay, well, I have to have a high. So it forced me to think about my day and reflect. I'm like, okay, I did actually have like a pretty good day. Like this was my high. And then like vice versa, if I have like a really high, then there's either something that I learned or something that I need to kind of like reflect on. So that like is my low. So doing that daily has helped quite a bit. It's the high-low app. You can get it on Apple or Android. So that has helped tremendously. But I'm able to also then, it's an easy platform to like share with my friends. I'm like, hey, what was your high-low today? And then like, just like today, like this whole like copy and paste or undo, like high-low, like you just picked low. Why did you just pick the low part of that? And then we now are having this great conversation. It's just, and I just needed like, this is like perfect. Like, I don't know. This is like
good timing.
Really, it was really great timing. Because you just
I love
talk about it.
Yeah.
You have to talk
what
about
what I love about your app, and I saw it and I was like, I should really get this, is I journal. Like that's another thing that I've always been a journaler, but I like super let it go, whatever. And now, you hear so many people talking about like, do a gratitude journal and like blah, blah, blah. And it's always been something that I'm like, yeah, in theory, that's a great idea, but I'm never going to sit down for like 10 minutes and journal. And then when I hit this burnout, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. So I've been doing that. And I say, I'll just journal, like brain dump into the thing. But then at the bottom every day I put like, today I'm grateful for this. And another one that I heard recently I've started doing is, today I'm proud of myself for, which I love too.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And so, but what I love your high and low thing, because even for people who are never going to take the time to sit down and journal for 20 minutes or whatever, it's like a quick, and I also heard someone say recently, like when you're thinking about things to be grateful for, or when you're practicing gratitude, there's like, you literally cannot have any emotion other than gratitude while you're doing that. And it's just such a good, even if it's for 10 seconds a day, like it just is so uplifting, especially when you're in this sort of like funk.
Completely. It helps. So, and you can turn that high into anything. You can list anything that you're proud of, or you're like, it's an app that you can personalize for yourself. And it really helps. It tracks your mood. So it takes keywords that you're using constantly. So it's like you're using the word social media constantly, it will track that. And you're like, wow, I'm talking probably a little bit too much about social media, or I am, like it. So it just like tracks like, oh, I'm really, really happy at the beginning of the week. And then really low at the end of the week. Wonder why that is. And because that would be like an abnormal thing. So I love it. And $1 goes to, the National Alliance of Mental Illness, which is really important too. But yeah, I love that. Awesome. I love that you're journaling again. It's helping me too. I used to journal quite a bit, and then I haven't, because one, I'm super picky about journals. So I just like never buy one because I can't find one that I like absolutely love. That's so nice.
This isn't what I've been journaling in, but I have it sitting right beside me.
Yeah. But the app is like so great because it's just right then. Me and my husband do it together, like right before we go to bed. So that's another like easy conversation starter. Yeah, I love it. Thank you for talking with me.